Hello, everyone. Going to go through the week 2 housekeeping items. Hopefully, everybody had a successful first week inside the class, and we're going to cover some housekeeping items for week 2 here. So, the agenda of this, we're going to go over feedback on homework and quizzes, talk about that, talk about assignment 1.2. We addressed that inside the first week. You have until the end of week 3 to complete that one. Also, the HonorLock practice test, where you get familiar with utilizing HonorLock inside the class. So we'll talk about that. We do have a graded discussion forum this week, discussion 2.1, that involves the concept of sets. We'll talk about that, demonstrate what's involved inside that, as well as your instructor's availability for the week. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, made mention this first week, but just to reiterate, as you complete a homework assignment, a quiz, anything that involves MyMathLab inside the course, those scores are going to be automatically updated inside of the class portal. So if you completed a handful of problems, you may only show, say, 5 out of 35 or 5 out of 40 on a respective homework assignment. But as you're completing things inside of MyMathLab, those scores automatically transfer to the class portal. So you should have been seeing that throughout the week inside of the class portal. Now, don't freak out if it's the case where you've only completed half of homework 1 at this point and you're only seeing partial credit. Remember, you have until the end of the class to complete any assignments with the exception of discussion forums and the MRC quiz that we talked about last week. So homework assignments, practice midterm, practice final, that is practice until mastery. And again, I'm going to refer to a video that I talked about during week 1's presentation. So again, you have until the last day of the course, and then quizzes as well. If you take a quiz attempt and you're not happy with that score on the first quiz, you do have up to 3 attempts as well. As I made mention the first week of class, this video is underneath announcements. You can watch this YouTube video that goes through the process of enrolling into MyMathLab, how to complete a homework and quiz assignment, as well as seeing the corresponding feedback on any assignment that's out there. So encourage you to take a look at that announcement if you didn't do it during week 1, but that is available to you as a resource out there for you to take a look at. Assignment 1.2, this is the Math Center resource quiz. It opened up back week 1. It can be completed through the end of week 3. And again, review the week 1 video that I've got posted underneath announcements on a demonstration on how to complete that. I covered that back in week 1. So that is also on your plate to complete as well. The HonorLock practice test, it will remain open the entire 11 weeks. If you go back to the week 1 video, I also demonstrated inside that video on how to complete that respective assignment, but that is also on your plate to complete here during week 2. Now, the week 2 discussion forum, this is our first graded discussion forum inside the class. It is worth 15 points possible. As I made mention back week 1, the discussion forum opens 12 a.m. Monday Mountain Time of week 2, and it closes at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time of week 2. This will only open as of from that Monday to Sunday. It doesn't open early, nor is it accepted late unless there is an accommodation. Again, we'll address that back in the week 1 video, but again, it is only open during that 7-day period unless there is some accommodation and you've already been informed of how to handle that exception if that applies to you. Okay, so moving on here. Initial post is worth 9 points. It must be done before Thursday. Again, you lose the 9 out of the 15 points. We talked about this in great detail back in the week 1 video. That initial posts have to be done by this time frame to ensure that the quality responses are going inside of that forum. First quality response is worth 3 points. Second one is also worth 3 points. That's how we get 9 plus 3 plus 3 to 15. Those responses must be done by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time, either Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time, depending on the time of the year that you're taking the course. And then just to reiterate, mention this back week 1, the timekeeper is D2L. So in other words, if you try to start that post at say 11:59 p.m. on a Thursday, and it doesn't actually post until 12 a.m. on a Friday Mountain Time, it will not count as an initial post. It will count as one of your responses. But again, it's imperative that you utilize Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or sometime before Thursday, before 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time to get that initial post done. Do not do a placeholder as your initial post. The hello, posting for attendance, putting an ellipse or 3 dots in, it's not going to count. I will respond back to you with an email with a screenshot of it, informing you that post will be deleted by the instructor. It does not count as attendance, nor does it count as post. So you do need to put forth the effort on the initial post. I will assist you. I'm going to go through what's involved in this week 2 discussion, give you some insight on what needs to be done to complete that. So again, we'll do that here later on in the presentation. Okay, made mention of this before, but just to reiterate, you do not see other students' posts until you make your initial post. So do your best job in terms of that. If it's Monday through Thursday, I will respond back with any corrections that need to be done. You can do that as part of either your first or your second quality response that's out there. So again, don't do hey, I can't get to it type of response. It's not going to count as your initial post. So like to make sure everybody's aware of that, especially as we proceed through week 2 of the course. Quality of the postings. Make sure again that we talked about the hello, posting for attendance, etc. It's not going to count. It's going to be deleted. Responses, stay away from, hey, you did a good job, 1 sentence blurb. It's not going to count for points as a response. So again, I want quality. If you're responding to somebody, use an example, put some thought process into that. If there are questions on that, don't hesitate to send me an email. I can clear up any confusion or issues that you may have in terms of a response. Or if it's Monday through Thursday and you're still having issues on it even after watching this video, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I'll respond back, give you some clarification on what needs to be done on those postings. Okay, so let's take a look at what's involved within this discussion 2.1. So come out of my PowerPoint here and let me go to this. Okay, so here we go. Discussion 2 is what is involved with sets, and it's something we're going to talk about inside your homework and quizzes, which is a collection of items. If, say, for example, you are dealing with a baseball team or a list of baseball teams that are Major League Baseball teams. Let me get my pen going here. Okay, annotate. Here we go. Let's say I'm listing Major League Baseball teams. I could have a set of Cardinals, Royals, and Cubs, for example. These are all within the set, a list of elements or items that have some commonality. In this case, these are Major League Baseball teams that are out there. What you're going to do, and from a real world perspective, is you're going to be assigned some words. You're going to take those words, you're going to break them up into each individual element. You're going to break those up into their corresponding letters, and you're going to perform something called a cipher. In technology, there is the process of what's called encryption to ensure that the transfer of data from, say, one computer to another computer is not compromised. Now, encryption is a lot more detailed. If you're in an IT program, there's a lot more level of effort to understand the concept. However, we're applying the mathematical concept here to illustrate an application of encryption and as well as working with sets. So you'll notice here, let me inside here, it says, okay, here's an example of what you need to do. I'm going to come back to that one here in a minute. But what words are you going to use as part of this discussion forum? On item 2, you'll notice that there is a link here that says discussion 2.1. I'm going to open this. And you'll notice I'm looking at your last name, the last name that you have listed inside of the class portal. So let's say, for example, my name was Elmer Fudd. Elmer Fudd is going to do letter F. They will be encrypting the words average and expression. So that's the way that you read it. Michael Weeman, I would have done W and done the word determinant and denominator. So based upon the first letter of your last name, not your first name, those are the 2 words that you are going to use in your initial post when you go to post out there. So let me come back and clear out my markings. So whatever 2 words that you're using, those are going to be the ones that you're going to follow through the steps that I'm going to cover here in a minute. So let me come back to this. So you identify, okay, those are your 2 words. And then what you're going to do is you can take a look at this example that I've got out there. Take a second or 2 here to load. And in this video, I'm going to play it here. Give me just a second. I want to. Okay. So in this example that I'm using inside the video, and the video is going to cover all this as well. Let me scroll through here. It's going to take. Let me hit play here. It's going to take each of these letters here, and based upon what's on the screen, say the word union here, it's going to take the letter U. The encryption of it's going to be W. The N is going to be a P. The I is going to go to a K. The O is going to go to a Q. And the N is going to go to a P. So for these particular ones, notice to the right here, you got your 5 encrypted letters, the W, the P, the K, the Q, and the P. When you go to list this out for step 1, the encryption of union, you only want a distinct list of those letters. So the W, P, K, Q. And then for 0, let me progress through here. I don't want to read. So notice you got B, G, T, and G. Utilizing this chart that's on the left inside the video, that's going to be your encryption there. So B, G, T, and G. So step 2, you're going to take your other word, do the exact same thing with it. Use this chart and move it over to the right. Now, Caesar cipher, just as an FYI, all this does is, if you follow the letters of the alphabet in ascending order, A, B, C, you're counting 2 letters to the right of it. So A goes to C, B goes to D, E goes to G, and so on. So you're moving it 2 places to the right. Now, the problem is, once you get down to Y, there's Z, and then what's after Z? Well, you roll back to the next one, which is A. So you're going to do that to your first word, to your second word, and then what's going to happen is, let me scroll through here a little bit. Okay, so you're going to take your first, for the union, which is part 3 of this, you're going to take the letters from here, the letters from there, and all you're going to do is create a distinct list out of it. So if I progress through here, just a second, you'll notice if I create a distinct list, that is going to be the resulting union that's there. Again, you can watch all of this inside the video that's inside the class portal, but I'm just demonstrating what's going on. The intersection is going to be what's in common. That's step 4 of this discussion forum. So I'm going to move here a little bit further. Okay. So the intersection is the letters or letters that are common between your first encrypted set from step 1 and the second one from letter 2. So you'll notice in this case, does W exist in both? No, I didn't write it down. Does P exist in both? No, don't write it down. Does K exist in both? They don't. The only letter that's common that exists in the first and the second is going to be the letter Q. So step 4 of what's required as part of that initial post is that letter Q. So again, this video is underneath week 2's module. You can watch it in its entirety. I demonstrate the whole entire thing, but that is what's involved inside of the week 2 discussion initial post. From there, once you've done your initial post, you will have a couple options that are there. And let me show you here inside of the forum. Give me just a second. Let me get back to it. As your responses, you would respond to either me or the other student that's up there that have responded. The other option to do a, hold on, I need to get to it a different way here. Sorry about this. Get down to week 2 here. Here we go, week 2. As your responses for the week, you can respond to me. If it's Monday through Thursday, you've made your post. You respond to another student, or you have the option of taking as one of your quality responses this guy right here. This gives you the opportunity as one of your 2 quality responses to take something from week 2's homework and do that as one of your responses. This eliminates the underlying issue of, okay, I need to get my post done early during the week and nobody's responded out there. You can use this as one of your 2 quality responses. So a lot of students use this as an option. I was asked for this several years ago inside the class. And again, this gives you the opportunity as one of your quality responses. So again, 9 points for the initial, 3 for the first response, 3 for the second response, gets you to the 15. So let me go back to the PowerPoint. Hopefully that was helpful in terms of explaining that week 2 discussion forum. And then last but not least, my availability during the week. Again, as I made mention, Monday through Friday, as well as Saturday morning, I do check emails, any correspondence that's out there. Benchmark is 24 hours. Typically, it's faster during the week. After Saturday morning, I'm typically not available from Saturday afternoon through all day Sunday. And the contact options, as I made mention previously in week 1, email is the fastest way to get a hold of me. You can contact my Google phone that's listed down there, but it goes directly to voicemail. It sends me an email. Typically, I will respond to you via email. So again, email is going to be your fastest and best way to get a hold of me during the scope of the course. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.